Ah, we're here. I'm so excited. Okay, I was just trying to get on live and it took forever. It was like having some loading issues. We're not going to do glasses today. Okay, first, welcome to Embodied Spirituality. My name is Ashante Marie. I am here to give you guys a chakra checkup for Gemini season. This Gemini season, we're going to be focusing on the SACRAL chakra, the solar plexus chakra, the heart chakra, and as a bonus, I'm thinking we're going to focus on the throat chakra. Before I get too far into that, I want to light a little bit of sage, my candle, some Palo Santo, set it up a little bit for the gram. You guys like my earrings? I really like them. I just need to make sure that they stay in the right place. But anyways, how's your week going? How's your day going? It is Saturday where I'm at. Good. I'm lighting my candle, my little tea light candle over here, and a little piece of sage, just to kind of clear the room a little bit. Right, clear the space, making sure that this reading is sacred. Right? I ask my guides, my ancestors, my angels, ascended masters that guide me for the good and good of all involved, higher self and source. Thank you. Thank you for being here with me. Thank you for joining me. And then in a few, I'll do a little prayer to the guides. I can do it right now, I guess, and then we'll talk. We can pray right now, and then we'll talk. I haven't dropped the description down in the bottom to include the decks that I'm using today. I did switch it up for this month. I am still using the Chakra Wisdom deck. I'll link it eventually. And this time I'm using the Afro-Brazilian Tarot deck. I will also link that. And I also have a traditional playing card deck. Okay, but I got it from my recent trip to Vegas. One of the places where I feel spiritually linked to, ironically. So anyways, ancestors, guides, and angels, ascended masters, higher self and source, thank you. Thank you for getting me here. Thank you for allowing me to get to this place where I can sit here and do this live today. Thank you for organizing it. Thank you for putting everything in motion so that I can be here. Thank you for all the ones who are going to catch this live either now or later. I pray that I am able to deliver clear messages and intuitive insights for the chakras that we're focusing on and this season that we're currently in. I pray that the messages come out clear and concise, and that I just do my best, and that's all I can ask for. And I ask this in the divine's name, root to root, heart to heart, crown to crown. I give thanks. All right, Ashe, Amen, I hope. Okay, before I start shuffling though, what was I gonna say? I was gonna say a couple of things. First, about the chakras, let me just pull something up on the side because I did do a little bit of a write-up for you guys. Because about 2 or 3 days before the readings, my guides start waking up my senses a little bit more and start allowing me to feel things for the collective. So first, I did want to talk to you guys about what I have or why I chose these chakras. I'm not going to really explain this for weeks part 2, 3, and 4. Maybe a little bit, but not much. As much as I will for this one. So for the sacral chakra, I chose that because that deals with our dualities, right? Our dual natures, the feminine and the masculine. And that's really what Gemini, the twins, right? Or the lovers card refers to, is uniting and integrating the dual natures within ourselves. So I'm focusing on the sacral. I'm also focusing on the solar plexus because the lovers also deal with decision making. And that's where you make decisions. A lot of things like gut instinct and all that stuff, decision making comes from your solar plexus. And I'll talk about each a little bit more when I go over their cards too. Your heart chakra, I chose that because it's the lover's card. Duh. Like, that's where we get all the feels from, right? That's where we kind of speak where our feels are coming from, right? We interpret it, I guess, in our heart a little bit more from our sacral, and then it goes through our throat. So I'm focusing on the heart chakra for that, see where that's at. Seeing how we're coming into union with ourselves, which will help alert us to how we're coming to union with the universe and the ones around us. Your throat chakra, I am focusing on that because I just have to watch this sage a little bit. The sacral chakra? No, what am I saying? Throat chakra. Yes. It's throat chakra. Oh, because it has to do, Gemini has to do with communication also. Yes. So I wanted to make sure, because it's ruled by, sorry, here we go. Because Gemini, there you go, all the things, all the pieces. Gemini is ruled by Mercury, which is the planet of communication. Also, like when we talk about Mercury is in retrograde, which I believe we have entered or about to enter, one of those two, I haven't double checked. And that usually when people are talking about Mercury retrograde, like communication gets a little skewed. You may get into more miscommunication, arguments or disagreements with people during this time. A lot of old energies will be resurfacing to kind of bring into your forefront for you to, in order for you to do some reflection around those things. Like past relationships and stuff like that. What else was I going to say? Also, too, yeah, miscommunication or like the internet and like the phones and not working, or if you have problems sending documents. They also say not to sign contracts during this time. Because it's a Mercury retrograde, because there's usually miscommunication. So you want to do it in a time where there's like no Mercury retrograde, where at least the communication channels are as clear as possible, right? So yeah, that's all. That's why I'm choosing the throat chakra. Let's see what's coming out. Are we using our voice? Are we vocalizing and expressing exactly what we need and what we want? Who knows? So I think that's all for the intro. It always takes me about 9 minutes. We got 8 minutes, they'll say. So let me go ahead and pull the cards. How has y'all week been? I feel like it's been a long time since I came on live, even though it's only been like 7 or 8 days. If it's loud in my background, or if you hear like trucks and stuff go by, it's just because I have my door open because I'm saging. When you sage, you should make sure, or smudging at any sort, you should make sure that you open the window so you can let out the negative energy or the lower vibrational energy out of the house, right? And while we're speaking about that, I did bring some Palo Santo over here, which is also a smudge stick. But if sage is more for like clearing the space, and Palo Santo is for integrating or bringing in and attracting the positive energy back into the space, right? I don't want too much Palo Santo today, but just enough to get us started. Okay. I think I'm going to start holding this in my shop too. So check that out in like a month or so. I haven't ordered anything yet. I just made the decision really like yesterday. So, okay. So back to what I was saying. Hope you guys had a great week. Let's do cards for sacral, solar, heart, and throat in that order, please. And then the surface and subconscious along with the overall. Thank you. So, sacral. Do you guys have a good week? Guys do anything fun? Sacral chakra. Ooh, spirit. Okay. That's a lot. Solar chakra. Solar plexus chakra. Come on. Solar plexus chakra. Okay. Heart chakra. Heart chakra. This time. Anything else? Yeah, heart chakra. Okay. Thank you. And then throat chakra. Throat chakra. Throat chakra. Okay, this and this. All right. I should start talking to you guys about one more for each of those, please. For that. Subconscious, please. And then overall. Almost there, guys. Almost there. Sorry. Thank you for your patience. I appreciate it. Anything else for the overall? Oh, that one. And this one. Okay, hold on. This one. This one. This one. Okay. Okay. So let me see. Let's see if there's something that I can talk to you guys about first. Again, I told you we're dealing with the Lovers card being in Gemini season. Again, it deals with duality and communication. The one thing that I wanted to talk about is the complication of communication sometimes. Because I don't know if you guys have had this experience, but sometimes people have this characteristic of a Gemini that they talk from two sides of their mouth, right? And granted, technically, maybe that is kind of what it is, but it's more so they are two people. So they are twins. So they feel things at different levels. So it's not that they're not being truthful or that they're not being honest or they're not being forthcoming. It's that they just understand things in both perspectives. So some days it may feel one way and one day it may feel something else. They are very creative beings. And I think that's because of that too. Dealing with all of those aspects. One more split forward. One more split. 1, 2, 3. Oh yeah, I can say. Okay. So we got all the cards on the deck, so we're ready to jump in. That was about so yeah, that may make things complicated, but they also are super creative beings, and I want to say trustworthy, right? For whatever reason. I think they are, for the most part. But then it's like, you just have to make sure that you trust both sides of them, you know? Like, just make sure you know them enough to trust both sides of them. Oh, yes. Shout out to all of the Geminis out there. I do have some Geminis in my life. I love y'all, you know. Shout out to my cousins, Derek and Sabrina. Shout out to my sister, Rhea. Let me just say Rhea. Okay. Rhea Zenobia. You can check out her music. And who else? My uncle David. Shout out to you. Let's see. Is Dominique a Gemini? I'm not sure. But if she is, happy birthday. I think she's like a Virgo though. I don't know. If there's any Geminis that I love out there and you know that I love you, don't take it personally that I didn't think of you right now. Just know that I love you and this is your shout out. Smooches. All right, let's jump in. So 4. First, focusing on the sacral chakra. The sacral chakra is located a couple of inches below your navel, right? It's like the womb / ovaries department, or like the fallopian tube arena. For males, their prostate. The sacral chakra is the energy center of your emotions. Your likes and dislikes are generated here, along with your sensuality, attraction, and social connection. So that's what we're going to be focusing on. The mantra is I feel. It honors creativity. I think about solutions, innovation, beauty, right? Abundance too, in a way, but that's kind of heart too. So okay. So first up you have the 2 of Cups. And to me, with the 2 of Cups coming up, it is like a miniature lover's card, right? So it makes me feel like you guys are pretty much in balance. You do have 2 2s on the board. The dual nature being highlighted with the 2. Feels like you're in balance and you're integrating. The next card that we got was the 10 of Wands, which is like burdens and endings, almost more burdens, like you have some more work to do, right? But you've been working for so long. It's like when you're on the last leg of retirement, or say that you're playing a really tough like football game and it's the last, you guys are tied up and you at the last like 2 minutes, right? You last 3 minutes, like that like almost grueling process. Not that you don't necessarily want to do it. It's just you have to source from a deeper part of yourself the strength and the courage to be successful, or at least finish the game, you know? But then you also have, and I'm just going to keep going before I do my diagnosis, you have the 11, and usually in traditional tarot, it's the Justice card. In this tarot deck, this is actually the Strength card. So that means you're actually taming some of the wild nature. that you're coming up against. Yeah, I feel like you're very successful in this arena in your chakras here. I feel like you feel balanced, that you feel like you're in love, that you feel like there's partnership, you feel like there's union. And you've learned how to integrate these different parts of yourself and to come into balance with navigating the sway, the wave of emotions. But maybe it feels like it's tiring to you. Maybe it's a lot of work for you. I don't know. To me, it feels like you're in love and you have a love in your life, or you know that you have love, right? You know that you are love, and there's maybe a piece of you that feels like it's lacking that, or that it's not coming fast enough, even though you know it's coming, right? Like even the 10 of Wands, even though it's a burden card, it's like, I know I'm going to finish, right? But I just got to do it. Like, I know I'm going to finish. Like, it's not like I'm not going to finish. It's not that I'm not going to do it. It's not that this game isn't going to come to an end eventually, but I'm not there yet, right? I haven't gotten there yet, or I haven't achieved that yet. Or I'm not seeing the results yet, right? Yeah, you may have achieved something and feel like you haven't really received the results that you were expecting or what you were looking for in the timeline that you're looking for. You also got the bittersweet card as the chakra card, which really talks about a love and a loss, right? It really talks about a love and a loss. And even though that there's beautiful things coming into the world, there's also things that are sacrifices that you are leaving behind to make space for these things that are coming into the world. So maybe you're feeling the drain of that. I know that coming into this last week, I was really like extra tired. Not only this week did I start my moon cycle, but just feeling like more tired than usual. Even when I talk to some friends and family members of mine, they have had that same shift in their energy space. So maybe you really need to take on the rest. Also, you may be letting go of some past hurts. I know that in those last couple of weeks in these the Taurus season, we're really focusing on taking the swords out of our heart and our mind, right? But really taking the swords out of our heart and then replacing those holes or filling those holes with love. And even in the process of healing, there's still a feeling of loss, right? Because now there's something different, right? You're always going to have this story. You're always going to have this scar, right? You're always going to have this experience. You may be revisiting, because it is Mercury retrograde, you may be revisiting a time of old heartbreak and trying to kind of mend some more of those wounds, right? Maybe pulling out a little bit more swords that you didn't know were there, some splinters maybe that you didn't know were there. But I do feel like if there's not love in there, there's love coming in. In this card too, you can also see that there's two doves, right? Even though one is in spirit and one is there, it still looks like two doves. One thing that you may need to do in order to just clear out some of these feelings is, one, to honor them, write them out and see what's going on. But you may need to do some tear sheds, right? You may not be a person who likes to cry. You may not, or maybe, yeah, I mean, who really likes to cry? But like, crying is so necessary. It helps heal so much, right? The ones who try and fight back those tears are the ones who aren't doing the healing work for themselves. So I encourage you, if you get to a point anytime that you feel like you need to cry or let out a couple of tear sheds, or watch a sad movie and it brings up some other stuff and makes you want to cry, just cry. Go ahead and cry. So I'm giving you permission to cry, right? It still feels really balanced in your sacral chakra, but my biggest thing would be cry and just do any extra reflective work around the things that you may be letting go of. And while you're thinking about the things that you're letting go of, I also want you to think about what you're trying to make sure that you're influencing or integrating into your life, right? I'm letting go of heartbreak to incorporate more love, incorporate more partnership, incorporate fun times, incorporate laughter, incorporate dates, incorporate joy, incorporate going out to the movie, spontaneous walks, looking up at the stars, like seeing what I see in the clouds, walking in nature, holding hands, right? So there's that. Next, I have for the solar plexus, we're going to move on. The solar plexus houses your sense of self-identity, your individuality, your integrity, willpower, and your productivity, right? Again, like I said earlier, it kind of comes from that mentality of your gut instinct, how you make your decisions, but it's also that fire in your belly. Like, that's where that saying comes from. The solar plexus is visualized as a sun, right? Or as fire. So yeah, it literally is where that phrase, like the fire in the belly, comes from, right? That's that willpower. So we're going to check that out. I think this is pretty clear. You have the 10, which is the wheel of fortune, right? Which means that you can be coming into fortune. You may be changing your fortunes, but more than anything, you may need to shift some perspectives and make some decisions. You also have the knave, or the page of pentacles, which means you have some messages about some incoming money. You may be working under somebody that is going to give you a lot of new information and as to how to be better at whatever you want to be better at. So make sure that you're paying attention and asking the right questions. Don't be afraid to ask the right questions. And you know those questions are coming too from the gut. Sometimes you may be thinking about them. Sometimes it's like, I really need to know this. That's a gut instinct to figure out the answer to something. So don't be afraid to use, to ask in order to seek more knowledge. Oh, I forgot to say a couple of other things about the solar plexus. The mantra is I do. This is where your life force energy is at. It honors the life force energy. So the things that give you like joy and that encourage you to go another day, right? It is your nourishment, your activities and hobbies that bring life to your spirit. And I think that was all for that in terms of the other things that I needed to say. Back to the cards. Your heart and your sacral chakra are really influencing each other right now. I think this was down there. I think this is this. No, that's that. That's that. Sorry. My cards got a little mixed up. But your sacral and your solar plexus are influencing each other a lot. Your heart is what's guiding you right now. So I would say continue to pay attention to your heart and what you want, and let that help you influence the choices that you want to make, right? Because let it stir your passions is what I wanted to say. You also got the workaholic card. So you may actually be doing a little bit too much, right? Maybe that willpower is going a little extra, is burning a little extra bright. Just make sure you're not missing out on the other pieces of life. I think that the fire that's going, I wouldn't say that you need to put it out or it's overactive or anything like that. I would just say maybe it's a little overactive, but instead of like pulling back off of like what you're doing, like all the things that you need to do, say that you got 1,000 things to do, I wouldn't say to stop trying to achieve doing those thousands of things. I would just say make sure you add, maybe add a couple more things to those 1,000 things and make that self-care. Because once you come into a little bit of better balance within like your self-care regimen, your work is going to go to another level also. And I think that's why the Wheel of Fortune is here. But it can't, if you are pulling from a less than full cup, right? You're only leaving sips, right? You have to pour in the nourishment. You have to pour in the nourishment. So you can do that by taking care of yourself. Definitely drinking water has been up there. And while I'm talking about drinking water, let me just take a water break. I mean, I can really resonate with this energy of like workaholic. I feel like this week I've been just trying to make sure I do a lot of things, and there's still all these things that I feel like I don't get to do because there's other things that I'm doing. Here's what I'm going to say. This is what energy really came up earlier this week too, or the other day, yesterday. Was that a lot of times we think that we're running late, right? Or we're doing things later than we should. Like I put a deadline on myself to get this done by X, Y, and Z. And that was also a real energy, like a strong energy going on in Taurus season. But I feel like you've gotten on like a good roll of taking care of things, but you still may be putting on this harsh pressure on yourself that may be more counterproductive than productive. Also understanding, like instead of like berating yourself like, oh, I'm late and oh, I should have done this like months ago. I want you to take the time to give yourself credit and understand where you've had to reallocate your resources. So granted, you may be late on something, but maybe it's not that you're late on that thing or late on taking care of that project. It's more so you needed to reallocate your energy for taking care of that project to do something else that was a little bit more pressing, right? Something else that was a little bit more on the emergency level, right? Maybe it's taking care of a family member. Maybe it's kids in school, right? Trying to make sure, because we're at the end of the school year. So I'm sure that could be taking up a lot of parents' times too. Maybe looking for summer programs, maybe with going back to work on another level, like actually going back into the office. I know that different people are taking those steps too. So it's not that you're late. It's that you had to reallocate the resources elsewhere. But as soon as you're done with doing whatever that elsewhere or putting your energy elsewhere, you're able to put it back into whatever the project or thing that you wanted to take care of. So give yourself credit for one, the thing that you have already been taking care of, right? For me, just so we can get a real tangible example, excuse me. For me, right, when I think about like my workout regimen and all that stuff, there's a day where I can be like I could be really hard on myself and be like, Shante, you X, Y, and Z, put on weight and blah, 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 or you're not exercising as much and you're not doing what you need to do. And like in reality, first of all, I'm doing a lot. Like in reality, I am. In reality, I'm picking up skating as much as I can. But here's the thing. Was I counting? If I was getting at myself like that, the chances of me realizing or giving myself, because it's not permission, but just understanding, like in February of this year, 2021, February and like a part of March, I could not really walk. Like walking was a challenge, right? I was like hunched over, okay? Walking hurt, sitting hurt, standing hurt, right? And I teach ice skating. I teach ice skating. So imagine not able to walk and I need to teach ice skating. Couldn't put my skates on, had to teach from the walls, but even teaching from the walls was difficult because I'm still like a demonstrator. I'm still somebody who needs to like do things in my body, right? Or even just being in the cold for so many hours, like that does something to your body. And I have to at least understand that, like, yeah, I may not be like running like I was before the pandemic hit last year, right? But I am making moves. I had extra practice this week. I've done more practices this week than I have been able to do without extreme pain since last year, a full year from now. So forgive yourself. Maybe that's what this is. Not give yourself permission, but forgive yourself, right? And is it really something that you need to forgive? That's up to you. Or give yourself a pass. Whatever you want to call it, do the work to understand that you are right on time. Divine time is right on time. Okay. Next, we have, I don't know if I look at the camera enough too. I'm sorry, y'all, if I don't. I'm working on it. Work in progress. It's okay to be a work in progress. It's okay to be a work in progress. So next, we're going into the heart chakra. The heart chakra is the central chakra. Again, we worked on this heart chakra last series. Well, last series too, the Taurus series. It's the central chakra. It connects our upper and our lower chakras, right? It's where they meet. It's our source of self, our love of self or for self, the universe, and others. It's where forgiveness and compassion happens. So, like I said, your heart chakra is informing your solar plexus, and there's this level of forgiveness that needs to happen, right? In order for you to function at the pace that you want to function at. Y'all not hearing me. Y'all not hearing me. Forgiveness and passion. The other thing, oh, wait, real quick. Let me stop. There's so many things I have to talk about. The mantra is I love. It honors the heart and the heart space. And this is where you will find things like joy, right? Focusing on the breath, it is an air chakra, air focused chakra. And Gemini is an air sign. So focusing on the breath could be really beneficial for this month or this season. I mean, always, but like, especially this season as we're transitioning, always and always, always. And then your receptivity. So your heart can kind of show you how good you are at receiving love too. Are you accepting things into your life? Are you accepting the compliments? Are you accepting the money falling from the sky? Money falling from the sky. Money falling from the sky. Wave your hands side to side, put it in the air. Just saying. Anyways, are you receiving it? Which is very interesting. And we got that card. So for this chakra, we pulled the Chariot. Okay. And the Chariot card deals with travel, destination, spiritual encouragement, and departures. And then you also have the 10 of Pentacles, right, which is abundance, wealth, security, generational wealth, right? Which is also great to hear from the heart chakra, because the heart chakra is what rules like the currency aspect, right? That's why it's the central chakra current. It deals with the current from the upper and lower, right? And they mix together there. Currency, money, honey. Okay. Look, we match. Y'all know I get silly. Okay. So yeah, we have the 10 of Pentacles, which is telling me that this heart chakra is pretty secure. But then we also have the rejection card, which we had so many times in Taurus season. But I'm thinking that this is you doing the healing work, right? I don't really ever read this card in reverse, but if this came in the reverse, right? Or if I did, I would imagine that this would have came out in reverse. Like I said, you've done the work. You've pulled out some of the swords from your heart. You've patched them up, but you still need them to like dry, scar, scab, fall off, and then be healed. But then you also need to like make sure you're not scratching it. Well, as I scratch my leg, that doesn't have a scar on it, though, Jesus. That you're not like scratching it or messing with it too much. That you're putting ointment on it, maybe even putting some like non-scar cream once it's at that level, right? But you're doing the work to heal the pieces of yourself that has felt the rejection, whether it be from, and I was going to use this one rock. I'm going to have to post about it though. I'll post about it. Let me write it down. Okay. But you've done the work to take the swords out of you, right? But, and this is you, sorry, not but, and this is you departing away from that mental space of feeling like you always get rejected. Because you may have lived in that space of like, I don't put myself out there because they don't really like me, or I don't, try and stand out or wear the things that I want to wear because like people are going to talk about me or say things, and or I'm not going to go this way because they they want me, or like, I'm not going to go this way, and they're going to talk about me if I go this way, right? Like, somebody earlier this week said, another tarot reader that I watched, they're going to talk about you anyways. So do you. Like, she didn't say it like that, but pretty much she should have. They're going to talk about you anyways. That one, Bessie, whoever over there, they're going to talk about you anyways. Whether you go left or right, they're just going to talk about you. So just do you, focus on you, and haters are fans, like I said. I don't have haters. I only have fans. I don't have haters. I only have fans. So I think you're coming into terms with that. I think you're coming into a good space with that. I think you're digesting that mantra into your spirit a little bit more. So this is the healing work that's coming in the right direction, right? Letting that old stuff go. Next, I think that's pretty good for the heart chakra. Yeah, I would just focus on breath. The other thing that I wanted to say about the heart chakra too is noticing what I was feeling this week. And this has to do with you moving away from this rejection, is that there's this grief, right? No matter if it's you're moving on from something better, like moving on from something bad to something better, there is still this shedding that's happening. There's still a piece of you that's being shed. And you can feel it, and usually it shows up as grief, and usually it can show up in your heart space. And I think people who, and this may be more than just people who have had asthma in the past, but I know that as somebody who has had asthma as a baby or suffer from asthma every now and again, and having a teacher, a mentor in a way, who also used to maybe have asthma, when she was dealing with a lot of grief, it showed up in her heart space. And you could tell she would like wheeze more, and like it would just be in her chest. And I've started to notice that with myself when that happens, where it's just like all of a sudden there's like extra tightness. It's not congestion like allergies or anything like that. It's really just like some other shit. And so like needing to literally like shake it out, right? Drinking a lot of water is going to help flush it out. 47, which is 11. Flushing it out, shaking it out, and then making sure you're doing some breath work exercises, right? Blowing, inhaling, right? Exhaling. Let's see. So yeah, I would just, pay attention to that. Pay attention to your heart, right? And do the let go process. Do the let go work. What other things am I drinking on today, guys? I can't even. Coffee. It's actually decaf coffee, so there's that. Never thought I would be like a decaf coffee drinker, but it helps me from all the acid too situation. Okay. The last chakra that we're focusing on, last but not least, is the throat chakra. Our throat chakra is our source of communication, creative expression, and a key channel for our heart. What did I say before, ladies and gentlemen? The mantra for the throat chakra is I speak. It honors communication, right? Self-expression, vocalization, and also speaking your truth. Right? So here, you have the 10 of Swords. That thing, a little bit. You have the Ten of Swords. The Ten of Swords deals with endings, right? It's almost like a miniature death card, right? Letting go of an old life in order to step into a new life. So this chakra may be going through a transformation right now. We've been going through a lot of transformations in our throat chakra recently, but I think this one may be a little bit major. Maybe you're making sure these swords though are very like lined up and orderly. Maybe you're doing extra work to make sure that you're keeping the lines of communication clear because you are aware of the fact that it is Mercury retrograde and that communication can be skewed. You are taking the time a little bit more to make sure that you're being clear and that the other person who's receiving your message receives it well, and that you're also taking the time to make sure that you're understanding what the other person may be saying to you. Because then we have the Seven of Wand cards, and to me, this is the advocate card. So standing up for what you believe in. In the other Rider-Waite deck, you'll see somebody standing on a mountain with a stick, with one wand, and there's 6 wands that you don't see who's holding it, but coming up from there, like aiming towards whoever's up there, right? But here, okay, for this deck, I read this card differently, right? I read this, even though that they look different, right? Still has to do with like communication, and standing up for what you believe in. But to me, this is like standing against your inner self, standing up towards your inner self. Like, yeah, you may be the person who is like your coach, and maybe you're your own drill sergeant in your head. But maybe there's the days where you don't need a drill sergeant. You need like a good coach versus the drill sergeant. You need the coach versus the drill sergeant today, right? Or you need the healer versus the drill sergeant today. Or you need like the PT instructor instead of the drill sergeant today. Having this inner dialogue with yourself and really coming face to face with yourself and your dual natures. And I think that's something that you're probably having to deal with having both of these cards out. You are maybe just trying to navigate how to properly deal with this world, is what I would say. How to make sure that you're clearing up the miscommunications. But it also is a lot of work. If you've ever been a mediator in a process, it takes a lot of work to be a good mediator. Or even if you do like social justice work and do, what is it called? Restorative justice. There's a lot of communication involved, but it takes like work. It takes listening, which is a function that you need to utilize when your throat chakra is also trying to become better activated, using your ears to actually listen. So it is communication, because that's how you're interpreting how people are communicating to you, not only body language, but from what they say. Yeah, I think you're kind of tired. I think you've been at it for a while. I think that you're okay with doing the work, and it's good for you to do the work, and it's healthy for you to do the work, but you may just be a little tired of it. You're kind of wishing that maybe we could just get out of this retrograde season. But know that it's giving you some gifts, right? What you get out of this, once you get towards the end of this, you'll be able to communicate people on the worst days too, you know? Like it gives you some sort of experience that you're going to use for your life going forward. You also have the impatience card. And you may, again, be tired of doing this. You may get impatient. You may feel like, fuck this. Like, I don't feel like communicating no more. I don't feel like talking to you no more. I don't even feel like clearing up this miscommunication. I don't even feel like clearing up this miscommunication. Think what you want. You may be in that space. I would say to help out this chakra, first, again, I still believe that you need to do more journaling this week. Ask yourself, what is it that you really want? What is it that you really need? I would pay attention to the dialogue that you're having within yourself. If you're having miscommunication with other people, you're probably having miscommunication with your own self internally, right? You can be like, what's a good thing? Example. Let's keep it to the love. Yeah, because that's another thing that I wanted to talk about too. You may be in a space of sorry. I'm getting tired. Obviously, my hour mark is when I start to get a little cray. But like maybe you're 2 steps away. Maybe your future partner that you're looking for, say if you're single, right? This future partner that you're looking for, maybe he's right behind you. Right behind you, bro. Or like he lives 2 blocks away from you. You just happen not to run into him yet. You guys are swirling in the same things. You guys go to the store, maybe even at the same time. Maybe he's on the opposite side of the store. Maybe he was 5 people ahead of you in line, right? Waiting to go inside and you didn't know, right? And you didn't meet him or even create the energetic space that would attract him, listening, that would attract him because you're like, I don't have my partner. He's not here. He's not here. But he literally could be like 3 steps away from you. And you're in this negative mindset of like, he's not here. And so spirit is just going to be like, well, he is, but he's not now. It's going to keep drawing you guys a little bit further away from each other. Right? Until you guys are both in the space of like feeling that you guys have the love. So, getting on the same page with yourself. This is what this chakra is about. Getting on the same page with yourself. And sometimes you need to do that. Write out the shit that you want and then really make sure it's what you want. And then sometimes the other thing too, sometimes we have dual dreams. Sometimes we have a dream to do one thing that's in this time frame and another dream to do this thing that's in this time frame, and they're 2 opposing dreams. You can't do both. So maybe you need to take the time with yourself and really figure out what it is that you want, where it is that you really stand at, what it is that you really feel in order for you to communicate it properly, right? In order for you to communicate it properly. This may also just be where you're at because of Mercury retrograde. So really, maybe even think about the things that are coming up. Maybe one day, I'm getting hot too. Maybe one day you need to take the time to just write out all the things. What am I feeling? Just free write everything. And then go back over it and really look at it and ask yourself, why do I feel this way? Why do I want these things? And write it out, free write it, right? Because you'll be surprised at some of the things that will come up. You'll be surprised at what your inner self will tell you if you just ask. All right. Girl, y'all get me hot. Y'all get me hot. I may have to take this off, honey. Hold on. All right, I'm going to be done in a minute. I'm about to be done in a minute. I'm hot. Okay. So, on the surface, Okay. On the surface, you have the Star card, which is the Oshun card in this deck, abundance. Ask for what you want. You can manifest whatever you want. You have to be able to ask for what you want. Make a wish, right? What is that wish? Reach for the stars. Don't just be like, oh, I only want to make like $50,000 this year or $100,000 this year. Maybe you need to reach for $250,000 this year. You know, who knows what the fuck it is? Sorry, cussing. But who knows what it is that you need to be reaching for? Know that you just need to reach for the stars. The star card has come up. And maybe too, that has to deal with love, attracting a mate, not feeling like you have to settle. Ask for what you want. What kind of mate do you want? Somebody who's trustworthy, somebody who's forthcoming, somebody who is compassionate, who has family values, who has good morals, who cares about who raised them, right? People who are spiritual, people who practice meditation, prayer, right? Maybe does yoga, somebody who's physically fit or likes physical exercise. Yeah, somebody who you can trust to lead you, somebody who will be there for you during the hard times, who will also be there to celebrate with you in the great times, somebody that you can call your best friend, somebody who's willing to share their world with you and you're able to share it with them, somebody that you want to explore the world with, travel with, right? You have to call forth that person. And as you're calling forth that person, think about what you guys would be doing. Oh, and instead of being like, oh, he's not here in this grocery line, right? Or I don't think that he's here in this grocery line. Think about, maybe he's not here today. Or maybe he is here today. Maybe he came here earlier and I just missed him. Damn it, I just missed him, but I know he's around. We're going to run into each other next time, right? I don't know, but get positive. Think positive, right? And you have I'm taking the Jax's Knights. So you have the Knight of Cups, right? Knight of Emotions, which means that there's a proposal coming in. So on the surface, you have a proposal coming in, right? Make sure that you're ready to receive this proposal. Be on the lookout. In the subconscious, you have the Three of Swords, which is the heartbreak that you're still trying to heal, even though we may have taken out some swords. Maybe there's some splinters left, because it seems like there's maybe some splinters left, or you're just holding on to what was, right? Holding on to what was or what you think physically is. I don't have a boyfriend right now. I don't have a girlfriend right now. Instead of focusing on what you don't have, right? Focus on what you are attracting. And maybe you do have it, you just don't know. Like, I married myself, so I know I'm married. I know I have a spouse. I know I'm married, I know I have a spouse. And I know that I am attracting my mate, my other spouse. I know I am. I feel it. My spirit tells me it's so. My spirit tells me it's so. Okay? You also got the Nine of Swords, which is the anxiety card. It's that 3 a.m. staying up worrying. Maybe you're spending a lot of time worrying about all these things, right? Worrying about maybe taking care of all of these projects that you have going on in your in your solar plexus. Maybe you're focused on the grief that you're going through, or trying to avoid the grief that you're going through in your heart chakra. Maybe you're worried about old rejection, right? Thinking that that's going to be your story forever. But you're worried about the wrong things. So there's a lot of worrying going on. If you're dealing with this like heartbreak card and this worrying card, I just feel like you need to take the time to, maybe you remember, okay, so this is one thing I didn't talk about, which this card really reminded me of. So if a couple weeks ago you did the work that I asked or suggested, there you go, and feel like really thought about any of the pain that you may feel in your heart and pulling the swords out of your chest, maybe it's time for you to name those swords, right? I did say you're going to pull them out, feel the weight of the sword in your hand, and then let it drop to the ground. Pull another one out, feel that weight. Is it heavy, right? Which sword is it, right? Which one? Is it this one? Is it heavy? Or is it this one? Is it lightweight, right? Does it hook you like this? Do you have to do some extra intricate extractions in order to get it out, right? Because it had a hook in it, right? Or a little extra, I guess, just hook. And then what were they? So during this Mercury retrograde, I will encourage you to sit and name some of these swords. What were they? And in its place, what would you like to feel? Maybe think about the experience that was unpleasant, or the experience that had its specific outcome, and replace it with a better way that outcome still could have came to light. So instead of like somebody cussing you out and being like blah blah blah, maybe you were just like, maybe just tell me you didn't want to fuck with me and leave me alone, and we didn't have to go to that place where you started to cuss me out and I started to cuss you back out, and then we went all the way left. Like, replace it with what would have been a better situation if you were there with one of your best friends, if you were there with your inner friend. Like, how would you want them to handle it with you, or how would you want to handle it with them? But I would suggest to do that intentionally so that you can get some sleep, because it seems like you may be staying awake a lot this season. Once, I think when you do a little bit more of that work, you really do have like money coming to you. You have the Ace of Pentacles, and then you have the Knight of Pentacles, which means incoming money and new money, enterprises, businesses, and business opportunities and projects, right? Coming forth. So again, back to what I was saying earlier, once you make space, once you make space and do some of the self-care work, once you do some of the journaling, once you do some of the naming of these swords, these old wounds, you're able to do more of the work that you wanted to get done in the first place. Ladies and gentlemen, just saying, make your money, honey. Okay? But you got to do the work too. Shed some of that shit so you can make the money. That's all. That's all. That's all. That's all. That's all. And for the overall, last but not least, so we're wrapping up this video. We're going to wrap this video up. Overall. You have the Six of Cups. Overall, you got the Six of Cups, right? Which is like a generous man. It's a man giving this one beggar money when there's two beggars on the card. But it's a card of generosity. Oh, Jesus. Sorry. I am speaking of the Six of Pentacles in my head. Sorry. Erase. Six of Cups. Sorry. Childhood love. Sorry. Friendship, childhood love, happiness, joyful experiences, right? Holding on to that. I think you need to take mindful action to name these cups. Like, I was just hanging out with a friend the other day. That was a cup. I had multiple cups, right? I spent time with a friend. We laughed. We shared stories. We reflected on some old times with each other. With another friend that I hung out with the week before, we shared really good food. We went to a place that we went to before. Again, reminisced on some things, learned some new things about each other, caught up with some old tales, laughed, had fun, and was like, and had just that young, what's the word? Fertility? I don't know what the word is. I can't say it right now, at least. But lightheartedness, right? This like lighthearted love, this friendship. I do want to talk about something here too in a second. Then we have the Eight of Swords, right? Which is the self-restriction card. You are keeping yourself bound. Let that shit go. Release yourself from your ties. You're the only person who could do this. Nobody can come in and do this for you. A TV show is not going to come in and wash this away for you, right? Just getting and doing your work over and over is not going to wash this away from you. It's always going to be there until you decide that you're going to let that shit go and walk away from it. So do the work. Seven of Cups. You have options on the table. Maybe they're not the options that you want, but you can get to the options that you want once you let go of some of this old baggage. You don't have the options that you want on the table now because you're over here stuck. Okay. But it's right in front of you. It's your mindset. I think this 7 is just your mindset blocking you. You don't think that you may have what you need, but maybe you really do, and it's right in front of you. You just have to call on it, say thank you for it being in your life, gratitude, and then let that shit come in. More of it come in, more of the love come in, more of the friendship, more of the partnerships. I have great partners. I have great partners. And I just keep attracting more partners. The last two cards that you got was forgiveness and passion, right? Again, what do we talk about this whole thing? Forgiveness, needing to forgive yourself, coming to acceptance of where you're at in life and the necessity of you being exactly where you're supposed to be right now. And healing and forgiving those old parts of you, right? Or those things that did damage to pieces of you, or that may have harmed you. And shedding that old life, shedding that old way, shedding that old mentality, letting it go. Forgiving yourself too from being in that place in the first place. A lot of times when we do some forgiveness and healing work, it's normal for us to be like, oh, I hated that I was there in the first place. Speaking of, thinking about heartbreak, one of the guys that, you know, I used to consider was like my big heartbreak, right? In life, I have to go kind of close to where he used to live. When I go and teach one of my students. And knowing that it's Mercury retrograde, I was thinking about it a little bit more yesterday, and I was just like, oh, so interesting. And I'm so glad for so many years, the times that I used to still have to drive over there for whatever reason, or towards that way for whatever reason, I used to be like, I hate it, right? I hate it. And I hate that I used to love this guy, and I can't believe I used to love this guy, right? And it's like, now I'm like, I had the moment of like, man, now it's just like ironic. It's just like, man. It's just like, I really love that kid though, too. Like, as crazy as it may have seemed, even though that was a crazy whirlwind, you know, and I may have done things that I may not even appreciate myself for doing then, or I may have made an ass of out of myself, even to just my own self, right? But like forgiving myself for that. Like, sure what? I made an ass of myself. Like, I was in love, and sometimes people make an ass out of themselves when they're in love and they can't think, and you know, all the way, right? When they're love drunk on the stuff, right? Like, And then forgiving myself for loving him in the first place. Was he the greatest guy to be somebody to fall in love with? Nah. Like, he was cool, but he wasn't like the best person for me to fall in love with. So forgiving myself, that part of myself that did love him. Like, that's okay. You know, I'm glad that I know better. I'm glad that I know better. It sent me on a path where I learned better. So thank you. I definitely forgive myself, because I'm grateful for where I'm at now. And I wouldn't be anywhere close to where I was at now had I not experienced some fuck shit like that. So thank you, God. Also, we got the passion card. Again, you'll be able to like do and move and do the things that you really want to do, that you're passionate about, that like feeds your soul even more, that feeds your soul even more. You can do more work, right? You have the fortune to do more work. But once you forgive yourself, or yeah, once you forgive yourself and forgive these past things, you can bring in more passion. That is the reading, my ladies and gentlemen. Like, that is the reading. What else? Oh, the last couple of things that I wanted to say. Yes, the last couple of things I wanted to say before I sign off. Do I have that? Is this in here? One local. So I don't know whoever this message is for, because I'm like, should I say this? Is that for me, or is it just for other people? So, like I said about the late stuff, like maybe you're not late, but if there's a late theme going on, maybe you're accruing some late fees, right? And I want to say the best defense for late fees, the best counter tactic for late fees, is to pay ahead, pay off, and pay it forward. So whatever that means for you, do that then. Second thing, when creating a masterpiece, usually when it's a real masterpiece, when it's really worth something that's going to sustain itself and be around for a long time, it usually takes many years to create, right? It usually takes many years to create. So allow yourself to be in that creative process. Allow yourself to be in that flow. Allow yourself to be a work in progress, because that's okay, right? A work in progress is still artwork in progress. And when you know that it takes years to create a masterpiece, why are you rushing it? Okay. To side note with that, thinking about love and relationships, calling in that love and relationship, I think a lot of times we get into this like romance of like, we see them, we meet, we exchange names, we fall in love, blah, 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 right? But these movies are microcosms of of situations. They're not taking into account every living, waking living moment of that person. You're just seeing the moment where they meet. But you're not seeing them going to the doctor's office, going to school, working every day, picking up their kids, making dinner, brushing their teeth, taking the you know what I mean? So understand that you can be meeting this person at any moment in time. Be open to the possibility of love. Also, to be open to the special things about whether get married, blah, blah, blah. But what about the small things first? Like, I really love the small things. I love the great conversation, enjoying the sunshine together, holding hands, right? Giving somebody, and especially in this day and age, some mask off privileges. Like, maybe I just met you. Do I want to be with you and have my mask off? We'll see, right? Comparing hands, like the sweetness of like holding somebody's hands. Like, what does that feel like? What does their hands feel like in my hand, right? What does it feel like when we lace fingers, right? Should we hold like this? Should we hold like this? Should we hold like this? You know what I mean? And then when we're sitting down and we're talking and doing that thing where we like compare each other's hand size, like, look how big your hands are compared to my hands. You know what I mean? Like, those are the sweet little moments that we all, at least I think, that we all love, right? We all love that because that is that like childhoodness, like, look at what you look like and look at what I look like. And then let's look at like how we do things differently. Like, your laugh is so interesting. I love hearing your laugh. Your laugh is way different than any laugh I've ever heard before, right? Or your laugh makes me laugh, right? Smelling each other's odors and scents, right? Even though we don't want to smell like bad odor, but we want to know what they smell like. What's their natural scent? You know, my sister says that I smell like water, and granted, like, I do. My natural scent when I like pick up like some clothes, sometimes I'm like, I really do smell like water, and I don't know what that's about. But like, what is their natural scent? What do they smell like, right? And then also too, what do they like to put on? What scents do they like to wear? Right? That's something intriguing too. Oh, he likes to wear this cologne, or she likes to wear perfume that's more floral and not fruity, or she likes something that's more heavier or lighter. It smells like linen, you know? So smelling, like getting used to each other's smells, right? That's beauty. That's the beauty of falling in love. And these are the things that you can focus on. Think about like, that's not what I was going to say, but yes, comparing each other's, not comparing. And one of the things that I wrote down too earlier to go along, come on, spirit, y'all better, come on. Y'all better come through then. Where's the card? To go along with this make a wish, ask and you shall receive. When I was outside this morning doing my meditation, getting some downloads, I was like, oh my gosh, there's a lot of information coming in. I need some paper. But I didn't want to go all the way inside the house because I was outside, and I didn't want to come all the way in because it just shifts my energy. The energy in the house is way different than what it is outside. So I went into the garage and I'm like, bruh, like, is there a paper and a pen somewhere? Paper and a pen somewhere. Like, spirit, can I get paper and a pen? And then sure enough, I saw some pencils, and I was like, damn, I don't think we're going to have anything. I may have to go inside. I see these pencils on the little cabinet that we have, and I was like, oh, snap, cool, we have pencils, right? And then I saw this bag that I stuck over these like Bevmo wine bags that I stuck in between our little wine section. And I was like, perfect. Now I got paper and pencils, and I wrote so many notes, right? In all different directions, front, back, right? But it was just another clear indication of asking, you shall receive. Ask for what you want, and you shall receive. I want that sweet love. I want somebody that I can laugh with, that I can joke with, that can be my silly, most authentic self with. Somebody I can sing with in the car, dance, take road trips with. Somebody who likes to drive, because I really don't like to do those mountains, right? I like somebody who likes to cook. They ain't got to cook all the time, but somebody who likes to cook and doesn't expect me to cook all the time. Somebody who's not going to judge me on how I eat, or at least likes to eat similar to me, right? But doesn't judge me when I have my splurge days. Like all the things. Like, somebody who's going to bring me soup if I'm sick, or rub my back. You know? Somebody who's just going to hug me because I like hugs. I like snuggling. It makes me happy. Somebody who likes physical touch. I need to be with somebody who likes physical touch. Okay? Period. One of my love languages. And quality time. Somebody who knows how to put their phone down when we go outside. Somebody who knows how to live without their phone for 5 minutes, right? Or 2 days at a time. You know, like not all the time, but like let's go off the grid for a second and be okay with that. Somebody who likes nature. Somebody who does want to travel to places that are different. And and explore places that are different. You literally have to ask for what you want and continue to ask for what you want. And then even like I have people that I love to go hiking with. I have people that I can go camping with. I have people that I have great conversations with. I have people that I have great meals with every time. And we talk on the phone. When we talk for hours because the conversation is so rich and so good. Like you have to ask for what you want and then see where it's already at in your life, take appreciation and gratitude of it, and then it will attract itself to tenfold. Okay. If I have to put it on that, I don't know what I wrote that for. Are you? They are around. Yeah, your person is around you. If you're looking for a mate, they're around you. You have to believe in that, right? Or that you met them or you've come across at some point. Maybe you've traveled, across seas and was in the same place. Let me tell you a quick story. I know I said I'm trying to get off this live because I am, but quick story. One of my yoga instructors, teachers, yoga philosophy teachers, to be clear, not a yoga teacher training, YTT, not that. Philosophy teacher. She told me, or us, our class, about when she met her, great love, right? And she met her great love when she was in her teens, going all the way to, or not teens, like 20s, sorry, in her 20s, and she traveled to India to study and ended up staying there or traveling back and forth there for like 10 or so years. She met him while she was out there, right? In their first 2 years or so, I think, right? The story may be a little off, but it's along these lines. Still a fairy tale, no matter how you spin it. They met each other in India. And then lo and behold, once they started talking, they lived on the same block. Like when she came back and at all this stuff, and he was like, I used to live over here too, or something, along those lines. They lived like 3 or 4 houses away from each other, and they had missed each other by like a moment. I think like the guy moved like in 1 year or 1 month, and the following month or something like that, or 2 or 3 months later, then my teacher moved there, right? So, but it took them to get all the way to the other side of the world from like the US to India in order to find each other. But you don't think your person is around you. You don't think you've met them before. Or you don't think that you guys have been in the same proximity with each other. You think that they're just not there. Right. And my other thing is to move with the energy. So do some dancing, loosen up the hips, the sacral, the solar, all of that. I don't know. I wanna bring this to a close. I kind of want to figure out why if I had to put it all out there. I think also too, enjoying the fact or enjoying the process of like falling in love with somebody, or even falling in like with somebody, right? Falling in like and growing in love with somebody. What would that feel like to even put it all out there? Tell them everything. Are you willing to put it all the way out there? Or you just want somebody to be in your life? Are you willing to actually share it with them? Stay positive. Look forward. Move forward. Stay grateful. Right. That's all I got for y'all. I hope y'all have a great week. I will see you. I think I'm going to be coming in next Saturday again for your next reading. Hopefully, you guys have found some great benefit. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you, guides. Thank you, angels. Thank you, Ascended Masters, for being here. Thank you, watchers. Thank you, viewers. Thank you for subscribers. Definitely don't forget to hit that like button because we all need a little bit more of that. Share this with the ones that you love and subscribe if you want to see some more. And follow me on Instagram at Embodied Spirituality. You can check out my website, embodiedspirituality.net. Drop me a love post and comment. I will see y'all next time. Bye.